literally about to crash my car right now. The impact happened. It was like a flash of white light.
Oh yeah, I had a really bad gut feeling this whole day today, but I didn't want to say anything.
What? Y'all, that is literally insane, and that is literally nothing but God, bro. Nothing but God. Just because you pray for something, don't think that you're going to receive it in the way that you think you're going to receive it. God's going to work in his own way, but best believe God will still get it done, okay? Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. This is your first time seeing me. Hello, it's your girl Diamond Janae here on YouTube, and as you guys can see by the title, today your girl is going to be doing a story time slash testimonial video, basically all about how God blessed me with my dream car. For some of you guys that may or may not know, I currently have a Honda Accord EXL, and I have been wanting a Honda Accord literally like ever since before I even got my first car. So God definitely blessed me with my dream car, and it definitely was not in the way I thought he was gonna bless me with it, and that's kind of like the moral of the story altogether, to be completely honest with y'all, but we'll get into that more a little bit later. But yeah, without further ado, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to your girl down below for more storytime videos, lifetime content, lifestyle content, hair reviews, makeup, all that good fun stuff. Your girl basically kind of just dibbles and dabbles into like a lot of different things, to be completely honest. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so of course, with any story that I usually tell, whether it's on YouTube or whether I'm talking to my friends, whatever, I usually have to give a lot of backstory in order for things to basically for the dots to connect, and for things to really make sense, and for certain parts of the story to really just hit different, you know, just so I do like to give a lot of background as well, but of course, again, everything I'm saying will make sense by the time this video is over, okay? All right guys, so basically we just gonna rewind this story all the way back until 2020, because that's basically when I had finally gotten my dream car. So during that time, I was currently driving a Pontiac G6, and I believe that car was a 2005 Pontiac. I absolutely adored that car. Like, when I say that was probably my second favorite car that I've ever had. Like, bro, like I said like I ever had, like I had a bunch of cars, like no, like I'm on my third car right now. But anyways, but like y'all, like my Pontiac G6 was lit, okay? The inside was gorgeous. It was all black interior, and then like the little lights or whatever that your car has was red. Like I absolutely, to this day, I absolutely love the interior of those cars. Like that was my baby, okay? That was my baby. All right, and this particular situation actually did happen on my birthday, so August 31st 2020. It is honestly insane to think that this situation happened literally over 3 years ago already, but because listen, time be flying. All right guys, so this particular situation did happen August 31st of 2020, so August 31st is my birthday, so I believe that was my 24th birthday that this situation happened. So basically what ended up happening was me and my two best friends at the time were planning on going into Philly and renting out an Airbnb in order to celebrate my birthday. Plan was my birthday that particular year, I believe, was on a Monday, so we had rented out the Airbnb for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because of course I wanted to do something on my actual birthday, because for some of you guys that may or may not know, again, it's nothing really against my parents, because at the end of the day, especially me being an adult now and having to be responsible for bills and stuff like that, life is very, very, very expensive, okay? So I understand, like, my birthday, to this day, even as an adult now, my birthday still kind of gets skipped over, because like even with my current friends and stuff like that now, like they have kids, so it's like when it comes to back to school, my birthday usually kind of just gets skipped over for the most part. So I'm always very big on like me actually wanting to do something on my birthday and wanting to actually celebrate and at least do something. So I really wanted to plan an actual trip instead of just doing the whole standard like getting cute, going out to eat, and then that was it. Like I wanted to do more than that, right? So this particular year, thankfully, we were able to all put our money together to be able to get an Airbnb, so that was an amazing experience. That was actually the first Airbnb I ever rented out, and honestly I did do a Airbnb tour as well. I think I might link that down below, but that Airbnb was absolutely gorgeous. The only thing I really didn't care about was that there were like a handful of flies in the kitchen for I don't even know why, but other than that, the Airbnb was lit. So mind you, that day was not running smooth whatsoever, but what else is new? Me and my friends, usually whenever we plan to go out and do stuff, we always end up running late some way or another.
We always end up running late, and it's like, bro, like we really gotta work on that.
What ended up happening was that day, at the time, Jasmine did have her own nail business and stuff like that. So she had offered, she was like, oh, hey girl, like as my birthday gift to you, I can do your birthday set for you. So I'm like, all right, bet, lit, because mind you, she had done my birthday set for me also the previous year as well. So of course, big shout out to Jasmine. Like, listen, my birthday set was giving very much cute, very much put together. Okay, and I absolutely did love that set. Unfortunately, my nails were type long because she convinced me to get them dumb long. So I ended up getting annoyed with them, I would say maybe about 2 weeks later. But with that being said, she kept rescheduling me to do my nails and stuff like that, because of course she does have other paying clients that were paying to get their nails done. Like, me getting my nails done by her, that was her gift to me. So I ended up not getting my nails done by her until my actual birthday, right? So that already kind of pushed my plans back as far as me getting ready and stuff. And then of course, me being last minute, I'm over here waiting last minute to pack my bags and stuff like that. Like, I already knew for the most part what I was wearing and what I was bringing, of course. I just didn't pack everything together, right? So I was already low-key rushing because of that. So I was already behind schedule because it did take a little bit longer than planned for my nails to be finished. So hurry up, go to the house, pack my bags and stuff, right? Mind you, because of the fact that this is my first time ever renting out an Airbnb, when they said that check-in was at 3, I thought in my mind that number one, we had to be there at 3 to like meet the host or whatever. And then on top of that too, my thing is this: if I'm paying all this money to run out an Airbnb, I'm gonna make sure that I'm there the whole entire time that I'm allowed to be there. You know what I'm saying? So like,
if check-in's at 3, I'm not gonna sit up here and check in at like 6, 7 p.m. Like, why would I do that?
So I was already rushing around because I really wanted to be in Philly and at the Airbnb by 3 o'clock, so we had enough time to get ourselves situated, get our stuff unpacked, get ourselves together and stuff like that, because we were planning on going out that night, right? My bad, y'all, my camera cut off because I had to change the battery. But basically what ended up happening is, right, so we get off the Ben Franklin Street Bridge, right? Mind you, everybody's going like 50, 60 miles an hour at this point. All of a sudden, the car in front of me, mind you, the car in front of me was a Buick. And on top of that too, I will say it was, I think it was 3 to 4 lanes, but I think it was 3 lanes all going the same way, right? Mind you, in every lane there's mad cars because of course, like, everybody, like, this is a pretty big bridge that everybody's going over, right? So the Buick in front of me all of a sudden slams on its brake, like literally slams on its brake. Mind you, I always like to follow, like, you know how like the rule is like, oh, like make sure that you're like a car space apart from other cars when you're driving and stuff. Well, I like to be 2 cars behind every car just to be safe, right? But even with that, bro, when I tell you guys, so I'm driving, everything's fine and dandy, just got off the bridge. I'm like, all right, bet, we're only 5 minutes away. Like, we about to be at the Airbnb, we about to get lit, we about to have fun, all this other stuff, right? All of a sudden, the Buick in front of me literally stopped, like literally slams on its brakes to a stop. Mind you, I'm peeping that the car in front of me, like literally, y'all, like, it was so crazy too, because it was like the car, it like the best way I can explain it, it was almost like all the cars were going with the flow of traffic, and then this car all of a sudden just stopped, like literally just stopped out of nowhere. And I'm slamming on my brake. Mind you, as I'm slamming on my brakes, I'm slamming on my brakes hard to the point where like my steering wheel is going like this, right? So like my body at that point automatically went into autopilot. Now granted, I feel like there's either 1 or 2 situations when your body does that with when it comes to fight or flight. Either A, your body goes on autopilot and you're kind of just stuck there for a little bit, but your body's just going through the motions to keep you safe, or B, you freeze. I thank God to this day that every single time my fight or flight kicks in, my body basically just goes into autopilot mode, and then there's that. Like, bro, like when I tell you guys, I can't even talk. I can't talk. I can't do nothing until the situation that caused that fight or flight is over. Like, I'm literally, it's like I'm stuck, but at the same time I'm not stuck because my body is literally like moving on its own. If I can understand where I'm coming from with that, but like literally, y'all, like my body was just moving on its own, and I was just like bro, like I'm literally about to crash my car right now. Mind you, Kima's in the passenger seat, she has her seatbelt on. I was driving, of course. I always drive with my seatbelt on, and I'll explain to y'all why later down the line, right? And then Jasmine was in the back seat, and Jasmine didn't have a seatbelt on. So when the impact happened, the crazy thing is too, like, mind you, you, like as we were about to hit this car, Kima's over here in the passenger seat screaming her freaking head off, which that definitely did not help the situation whatsoever. I'm just like, bro, but at the same time, obviously I can understand why she's screaming, because it's like, damn, bro, like we're about to get into a car accident and this is about to be like a head-on, head-first car accident. So I understand why she was screaming, but at the time, just like, bro, like in my mind, I'm like, you was not helping. Like, you know how like in a lot of like an anime or whatever, it'll be like, oh, 5 seconds, and there'll be like a whole 2 minutes worth of dialogue within those 5 seconds. That's how it honestly felt to me in my mind and in my head as everything's going on, right? Because mind you, like I did have that thought of pulling my emergency brake, but at the same time I caught myself, because I'm just like, wait a minute, if my car, my steering wheel is already going like this, so the moment I pull this e-brake, my car is just gonna end up flipping and spinning out of control, right? Mind you, I'm on the furthest left lane, so there's the left lane, the middle lane, and the right lane. I was in the furthest left lane, so only God knows what could have happened if I would have pulled my e-brake, right? I'm over here just bracing for impact and like praying that I'm able to stop my car by the time it reaches the next car, right? But unfortunately that was not the case. Mind you, as I'm over here slamming on my brakes and try to keep control of my car to make sure my car doesn't flip or it doesn't go onto the other lanes and whatnot, Kima's over here screaming her head off. I forget what Jasmine was doing. I don't even remember. I think Jasmine kind of like froze too. I'm not gonna hold y'all. But what ended up happening was, so I ended up hitting the car, right? Mind you, the craziest thing about that is the simple fact that like right before the impact happened, it was like a flash of white light like went across my field of vision. Like it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain, it wasn't like a bright light like this. It was like this, like a swipe. Kind of like, and now I know obviously in retrospect that was definitely an angel stopping the impact and not making it as bad as it was. So when I tell you guys, like, yeah, of course my airbags went off, and mind you, a lot of people tend to say when it comes to car accidents and stuff like that, most of the time when your airbags go off, the damage, like most people get more injured from their airbags going off than the actual accident itself. But it was so weird because after I saw that flash of white light like go across my face real quick, I felt the airbags go off, but I swear to y'all, the airbags going off felt like somebody like grazed my face with a pillow. That's honestly the best way I can describe it. So that was insane to me, right? So once everything's said and done, my car is hella smoky and stuff like that, but thank God I didn't catch on fire, blow up or nothing like that. But the whole front of my car was totaled. Like my car in general was totaled. Like I did not have a car anymore. Mind you, I only had like $500 in my savings account at the time. So I'm over here freaking out because I'm just like, bro, like I do not have the money to get another car right now. Like I don't, because mind you, my Pontiac at the time too, I bought that car flat out from the auction, and that's a whole nother story time within itself now that I think about it. I had gotten that car from the car auction, so I wasn't paying any car payments on my car. Like I 100% owned my car. The whole front of my car is basically just destroyed, so my car was totaled. And then so we're over here like, hey, are you okay, this and the third, blah blah blah. Thankfully none of us were seriously hurt and none of us ended up having to go to the hospital. I forget if Kima had anything wrong with her. She might have had a headache, but I could be wrong. I do know for a fact Jazza was saying how her body was sore and how her back hurt, because again, she was the one in the back seat and she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. And then for me, I did have some scratches on my arms and my arm was pretty sore, but it wasn't bad to the point where I felt like I needed x-rays or anything like that. So that whole ordeal ended up happening. Of course, thankfully, thank God, because I'm not gonna lie, I was very nervous. I technically hit the car in front of me. I literally hit the back of the Buick, and I'm just like, bro, like this is not happening right now. Like this is seriously not happening right now. Like when I tell you guys, I was literally freaking out. Yeah, so mind you, like there were 4 cars total that was a part of the situation. What ended up happening was the first 2 cars had already gotten into a minor fender bender, but unfortunately the car that I ended up hitting, they realized too late, like, oh snap, I have to slam on my brakes, and then that's what caused the delay of me slamming my brakes. So, and then on top of that too, thank God my insurance, like ultimately after the accident was done and after everybody gave their statements and stuff like that, I was not in the wrong. So I was technically the 4th car in line. So there were 2 cars already had a minor fender bender that they were already trying to work out between themselves, and then the Buick was the 3rd car, and then I was the 4th car, right? Mind you, we were out there for like a good hour. Like it literally took forever today for the tow truck people to come, the cops to come. I was on the phone with my insurance. Like it honestly was like, it was a blur, because again, I was still in my fight or flight of like trying to just get everything situated. did. And when I tell you guys, like, I'm sitting here because I'm just like, okay, like, what are we gonna do? Like, in my mind, I'm like, are we just gonna try to get a ride to go back into my hometown and then just call it a day, or are we just gonna catch an Uber to go to the Airbnb? And it's like, again, the Airbnb was literally 5 minutes away, so I'm just like, you know what, we already made it all the way out here, we already paid for the Airbnb. Mind you, at that point it was too late for me to get a refund because it was a day of, so there was no point in only getting partial of our money back and not even have the experience. Because Kima and Jasmine both told me, they were like, hey, like, it's up to you what you trying to do, this, that, and the third, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, you know what, we're only 5 minutes away, let's just call an Uber or go to the Airbnb, right? Mind you, Kima ended up calling her mom after everything was said and done. Well, not everything was said and done, but like after, like, while I was on the phone with my insurance and stuff like that, Kima was on the phone with her mom, and then Jasmine had called her mom and her aunt and stuff and let them know what was going on. I had texted Malaysia the pictures of my car just to let her know what was going on. And it was so crazy to me because, and this is why I was irritated with Kima, and it was one of those things where it's like, it already happened, it is what it is, so I'm not gonna sit up here and dwell on it. But the whole day, like, after everything was said and done, bro, like when we got to the Airbnb and stuff, he even go sit up here and be like,
oh yeah, I had a really bad gut feeling this whole day today, but I didn't want to say anything.
What do you mean you had a bad gut feeling all day today and you didn't say nothing? What? So literally ever since that situation happened, whenever one of my friends said like, hey, I have a bad gut feeling about this, like, say if we're about to go out or whatever, it's like, yo, I have a bad gut feeling about this, we listen to that gut feeling, whether it's me initially having that gut feeling or one of my friends saying that they have a gut feeling. We do not play with that now. But it's like, dang, like, I kind of had to be the sacrificial lamb in a way for us to actually go off of that principle. And I told her, I was like, Kima, why didn't you say nothing? And she was like, oh, because I didn't want to ruin the mood and this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, girl, like, if she would have told me, I mean, at the same time too, again, I wouldn't have got blessed with my dream car the way I did, but it's like, bro, if she would have told me she had a bad gut feeling, I would have waited like another 30 minutes to leave, because again, we were rushing around a lot, and you know, when you're rushing around, that's usually when a lot of chaotic stuff be happening, you know what I'm saying? So if she would have told me like, yo, like, I have a bad gut feeling, I would have just been like, you know what, let's just wait like another, you know, 15 to 30 minutes before we head out and then go out, because what if you have that weird gut feeling because we might get into a car accident? Because that would have been my mindset, you know what I'm trying to say? She was on the phone with her mom, and it's so crazy because at this point her mom was on speaker, I think, and then her mom was like, oh, I had the sudden urge to pray for y'all a couple of minutes ago, and this, that, and the third, and blah blah blah. And then on top of that, she was the one that had pointed out, she was like, yo, like, I didn't pray, like, we didn't pray together before y'all left. And I'm just like, yo, that is so true, we did not pray like we usually do for traveling mercies and stuff before we left. So combined with Kima having a bad gut feeling literally all day, like, she literally said since she woke up she had a really bad gut feeling. So between Kima saying that and then Sheena saying what she said, I already know whatever prayer Sheena prayed, I know for a fact that flash of white light was definitely an angel and definitely did help, because bro, the way that impact was literally insane. And also too, right, quick side note, rewind back to 2015 before I even got my first car. So mind you, 5 years before that car accident happened in 2020, I remember, and even to this day, this has only happened to me once, and even according to my pastor, it is very rare when this does happen, but I dead heard the voice. Mind you, at the time I was living with Kima's aunt and I was in the basement, right? I kid y'all not, out of nowhere I heard a voice tell me, always wear a seatbelt when you're driving. Always wear a seatbelt when you're driving. Mind you, again, I was on my second car when the car accident happened, before I even got my first car. So 5 years before the accident actually happened, I heard that voice of God telling me, always wear a seatbelt when you're driving. So ever since I got my car, I always wear my seatbelt. Like 99.9% of the time, I wear a seatbelt when I drive my car, period. Like, I don't play with that, especially after my accident happened. I'm like, Lord, like, because you think about it, bro, I literally hit this car head on to the point where the airbags went off. If I was not wearing my seatbelt, I most likely would have died that day. Like, I definitely would have flew through the windshield. I would have flew through the windshield, how hard that impact was supposed to be. Like, that is just so crazy to think about. So fast forward back to the incident, right? So once everything was said and done, we go back to the Airbnb. Mind you, at this point, and it's like, again, like, now that I'm older and I can really like think back of the situation, I definitely did go into like a slight depression, because I'm just like, bro, like, I have an apartment now, I have have more bills than I normally do, because of course, like when you get your first apartment, like now you gotta pay electric, now you gotta pay heat, now you gotta pay rent. Like those are extra bills on top of your regular everyday bills, like your phone bill and your car insurance and stuff, right? So I'm over here like, bro, like I have no idea how I'm gonna be able to get another car. I didn't know how soon I was gonna be able to get another car, because mind you, like I made decent money because I worked at the bank, but it wasn't like I was able to put like $300, $400, $500 aside for savings. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like the cost of living was even low-key expensive back then, but I was able to handle it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like putting big chunks of money away for savings and stuff like that, like I didn't have it like that. But thankfully I did have like 500 in my savings account at the time. But again, like that's not enough to put down for a car. Mind you, I was so, and to this day I still anti-car note, because I'd much rather just buy a car flat out and not have that extra bill. And on top of that, so your insurance is cheaper if you own your car compared to you financing it. I'm over here like, bro, like this is gonna take me mad long to get another $3,000-$4,000 to be able to get another car. And then I ended up just biting the bullet, because I'm just like, okay, whatever, like I'm just gonna have to get a car note, right? So basically, like when I tell y'all that whole trip, literally the only thing we did was just lay around the house and just watch Netflix movies. Like that's literally all we did. Like for all that, we might as well just went back to our houses, to be honest, now that I think about it. Because it's like, for like, bro, like literally I did not want to do anything. I did not have the motivation to do anything. And it's like, of course, looking back, like we could have always just took an Uber to here, there, or whatever, but like I just was not in the mood to do anything at all. Like the whole time I was stressed out, because I'm like, bro, like I don't know how I'm gonna get a car. I don't know how I'm gonna get a car. Bro, I have a job I have to go to, because at this point, again, I worked at a bank. I didn't work from home. So I'm just like, bro, like I need a car. Like how am I supposed to get around? How am I supposed to function? Because mind you, at this point, I had my Pontiac for like a good, probably like what, like 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Like I've had my Pontiac for a while, so I was very accustomed to having a car, you know what I'm saying? So fast forward, trip is over. Kima's mom ended up picking us up and then taking us back to our hometowns and stuff like that. So what ended up happening was, mind you, I don't got money like that for a car, right? But here's the thing, right? So I ended up having to tap into my IRA or my 401k, whatever you want to call it. I had to end up tapping into that account to take like $2,000 out of that to go towards me getting another car, right? So it was so crazy too, because, and again, just delayed but not denied. I will say that just because you get a no doesn't automatically mean it ain't gonna happen for you. Just means that God ain't gonna bless you that way. Because like everybody on my job kept telling me like, oh, you know, you should go through a credit union. With credit unions, it'll be a lot better, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. Because again, at the time I was working for Wells Fargo, so I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna sit down with the banker and see what I can get, a car loan or whatever. And I think it was Carolina that said it, so big shout out to her. But she was like, no, Mija, like you need to go through a credit union, because that's going to be more affordable for you when it comes to a car loan. So I'm like, okay, bet. So the first place I called was Diamond Credit Union. And when I tell y'all, to this day, I wish I remember what this lady's name was, because she was rude. Let me calm down, Diamond. This is how many years ago. It does not matter now. But she was so rude. Oh my gosh, bro. She was so rude and so dismissive. I'm like, ew. Like, I really hope and pray she got fired, because honestly, like she was just so degraded. Like, just her tone made me even more discouraged as far as me getting a car, because I called her. I basically explained my situation and stuff like that. Mind you, my credit wasn't really the best at the time. I think it was like at like 580 or something like that. So again, keep that in mind. And I'm explaining the situation to her and stuff, and she's like,
oh, well, we're probably not gonna be able to help you, blah, 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 blah.
And she was just being so like just rude, dismissive, and condescending. I'm over here thinking like, bro, like where is your empathy at? Like, ugh, like just like she was just so dismissive. She sounded like she didn't even want to be on the phone with me, honestly. Like it was like she was trying to hurry up and get me off the phone so she can continue on with her day, where she's like, no, sorry, we're probably not gonna be able to help you. No, no, da, da, da. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I hung up on her, right? And then I decided to call Riverfront Credit Union. Riverfront was way better, and to this day, of course, that's the credit union that I am financing my car through right now. I'm actually, ooh child, $3,000 and my car is officially paid off. I'm ready. Listen, I'm ready. I'm ready. So thankfully I was able to get a car loan through Riverfront, and mind you, my original plan was I was gonna go through a personal seller, because of course for personal sellers compared to like dealerships, personal sellers you can get the car cheaper. So mind you, like if I would have gotten my Honda through a dealership, which I ended up getting it through a dealership anyways, but my car altogether was $8,000, right? If I would have got my car, that same exact Honda Accord, off of a private seller, it would have been about $2,000 cheaper, right? So when I tell you guys, God kept blocking me and 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 blocking me from getting a car, bro. Like I was getting so frustrated and discouraged, and I'm just like, Lord, why? Because when I tell y'all, and first, like, bro, people don't be putting stuff on Facebook Marketplace if you ain't trying to sell it and you ain't trying to make money. That was my thing, because when I tell you guys, out of the 20 plus people that I hit up to schedule an appointment to view the car, almost nobody responded to me. I maybe went to see like 2 or 3 different cars, and that was it. Like, bro, like nobody was responding to me. So mind you, at this point I'm getting discouraged. Mind you, I think I kind of skipped over this, Lord have mercy. But basically I did end up getting approved for my loan at Riverfront. Again, even though my credit was not the best, I still ended up getting approved. It was, so I was just really frustrated, because I'm like, bro, I got the hard part out of the way. I have the funds. I guaranteed I have the money to get a car, but now it's just finding a car to get. So that's why I was getting really frustrated with these people not responding to me, because I'm just like, bro, like, do y'all want to sell y'all car or not? Like, what are y'all doing? But anyway, so fast forward, so then what ended up happening was, and it was so crazy too, because even the first day I was looking for a car and stuff like that, like after I got approved for the loan and stuff, I went, because shout out to Heritage Auto, because that's actually where I got my car from. But it was so crazy because Heritage Auto was the first place that I looked on their website to see if they had any Honda Accords or any cars in general that were in my price range that I wanted to get. And they did have, which is the car that I have now, the 2009 Honda Accord EXL.
But I'm like, ooh, like he's selling it for 85. Like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to just do a private seller.
So it was so crazy because Heritage Auto was actually the first place that I looked at to find a car, and then me trying to be cheap, I'm like, no, I'm gonna just do a private seller. So lo and behold, I would say maybe, like, mind you, it was a total, I would say about 2 months that I didn't have a car. So literally, bro, I'm like, you know what, these private sellers are really pissing me off at this point, and I'm not really getting anywhere with them. So I'm like, all right, F it. So I called Heritage Auto, talked to the guy about it and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, like, can you sell it to me for 8? I probably should have said 7 and then met in the middle, now that I think about it, because listen, I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to negotiating at the time, so it is what it is. If you can give me 8,000, the car is yours. So I'm like, okay, cool. So then I called the banker again that I've been talking to. I forget what her name, I think her name was Jennifer or something like that. So I told her, I was like, hey, you know, me trying to get a car through a private seller isn't helping, this, that, and the third, because again, at this point, it's been over a month since I got my loan approved, and then she keeps following up with me like, hey, what's going on with the car situation, blah, 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 blah. That was another reason why I low-key felt like I was on a time crunch, because I'm just like, bro, like, I don't want to end up losing out on this loan, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, okay. So then I called up Heritage Auto, talked to the guy about the price and stuff, so then I ended up contacting her again. I'm like, hey, you know, I decided to get this Honda Accord from this particular dealership, here's the information, here's the total price of the car, yada yada. She redid the paperwork, all that stuff, got approved for that, and then I ended up going to Heritage Auto and I test drove the car. Mind you, at this point, again, it's been about 2 months since I've been behind the wheel of a car, so I'm over here low-key nervous. I'm like, dang, I hope I didn't forget how to drive, you know what I'm saying? Like, I already forgot how to ride a bike, so I'm just like, bro, like, I really hope and pray I did not forget how to drive a car. So thankfully Kima was able to take me over there, and then me and her basically test drove my car to make sure everything was good. None of the lights were on, the tires were brand new, everything basically looks spick and span. So I'm like, okay. Mind you, Kima had got her car from Heritage Auto, her mom got a car from Heritage Auto, and even her brother Nini got a car from Heritage Auto. So all these people over here having good experiences at the time. Later on, her brother didn't have a good experience with them, but that, again, that's a whole different thing. But anyway, so I'm just like, okay, like, I feel as though this is a trusted dealership. I don't think they're gonna sell me no rinky-dink car or nothing like that. And it's like, even when the guy was talking to me about the car, like, it's like, you know, you could tell someone's talking about something and they're very proud of it, like, yo, like, yeah, this car, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 like, and it almost low-key looked like he was kind of sad to see the car leave. Like, that's kind of the the vibe I got in a way. So it was like, I was nervous as far as me driving the car, but as far as me actually buying the car itself, I did feel peace about that situation. So I'm like, all right, bet I'm gonna get this car. Thankfully, everything was able to go through. I was able to get my car and everything worked out. So here's my thing, right? Mind you, my credit score was not the best whatsoever, right? Tell me why at the time for me to get full coverage and all that stuff, and for me to have the $500 deductible, I was paying $150 for full coverage. Mind you, on my Pontiac for just liability, I was paying $180. So not only did God bless me with my dream car, but he also blessed me with me being able to get my insurance shorter. I said shorter, for me getting my insurance lower. So not only was I paying $150 a month for insurance for full coverage now, mind you, I've never had full coverage in my life until I got my Honda. Because mind you, when you finance a car, you have to have full coverage. Like, that's not an option. So not only was my insurance cheaper, but also my car note is literally $169. Well, it's technically $168 and some change, but let's just round it up to $169. What? Mind you, I worked at the bank for 5 years, and of course as a teller, one of your main roles is to make payments as well. And when I tell you guys, I'm so used to seeing people's car payments being anywhere between at least 200 all the way up until like 800, I think was like the most highest payment that I saw. And I'm just like, of course it got to be a BMW. Like, you really want a luxury car that bad that you're gonna basically pay a rent payment? But I'm like, listen, if you got the money, I ain't gonna sit up here and judge. What you do with your money is up to you. That got nothing to do with me, okay? But yeah, so it's like, that was a miracle within itself too, because I'm just like, bro, like, what do you mean like my car payment is $168? Like, what? Like, that's lit. Like, that's not as bad. Like, I'm over here thinking I was gonna have to pay like $250 for a car note. So the fact that once all the numbers were crunched together and stuff like that, it was only $169. That is literally like a giant blessing. And mind you, even with that, because again, like, for some of you guys that may or may not have seen my life update / testimony video, I'm currently unemployed. I've been unemployed since June. I don't have to pay my car note because of the loan or whatever that I got from Riverfront. That's insured. So because of the fact that I'm now unemployed, I don't even have to worry about paying my car note. So that's another blessing on top of that God did for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, and the fact that my car just happens to be white, and I even told God before I even got my first car that I wanted a white car, because I just feel like white cars and black cars just give very much like luxury, bougie, and those are the vibes that I like. Now I'm gonna hold y'all. It is what it is. I like what I like, okay? But yeah, it was just so crazy. So like, not only did God bless me with the Honda Accord, and mind you, the Honda Accord EXL, for some of you guys that may or may not know, because with Hondas there's different versions. Like, there's the LX, there's the EX, and then I think there's the EXL as far as like the 2009 versions go. According to Junior, like the guy that used to work on my car and stuff, he said the EXL is the best version, because mind you, I have the sunroof and everything. So like, God really, mind you, I got brand new tires too. So it's like, God really sat up there and blessed me with my dream car. But guess what? Because of me getting my dream car, if I wouldn't have gotten into that accident, I wouldn't have gotten my car. And it's just so crazy to me to think too that like, bro, like that Honda to this day gives me very minimum issues. Like, of course it's a used car. Oh, and on top, like, bro, I'm over here leaving out details. This is what happens when you don't do notes. When I got my Honda, it was literally at 95,000 miles. Like, what? A 2009 that has less than 100,000 miles is insane, because for some of y'all that may or may not know, Hondas will literally last you until over 300,000 miles as long as you're doing the upkeep and as long as you're taking care of it when you're supposed to. So it's like, bro, like God really sat up there and showed out. And the fact that that car, I don't even know how long total that car was up for sale, but the fact that I first saw that car back in the beginning of September and that car did not sell whatsoever until I bought it in November, because I think it was like towards the middle of November that I actually got my car. I know for a fact God was holding that car for me. So it's like, when you really think of the whole situation, like, yes, God blessed me with what I asked for. I literally had to wait 5 years, and on top of that, God had to literally take away my Pontiac in order to bless me with my Honda. And it's so crazy too, because it's like, it feels like it was longer than that, but when you really actually look at the facts, I was without a car for about 2 2.5 months. That's not bad at all. So less than 3 months later after my accident, I was able to get in another car. Like that in itself is like, there's just so many different things that's just insane when you really sit back and think about the whole situation. Like y'all, you think about it, I wanted a white car, I wanted a Honda Accord, I ended up getting a Honda Accord EXL, which is the best version of that Honda. It had 95,000 miles, brand new tires, my insurance for full coverage, everything included was only $150, so it was $30 less than what I was currently paying for this liability on my old car. And on top of that, my car note is $169. Like y'all, that is literally insane, and that is literally nothing but God, bro. Nothing but God. And like I said in like my life update video that I did a couple months ago, that's the main thing, and this is the main story that kept replaying in my mind when everything was going on in my apartment. So like, if God sat up there and took away my car the way he did and blessed me with the car I have now, I can't even imagine what my next house is gonna look like. I'm not gonna hold y'all, like y'all do not understand how excited I am, because mind you, I kept telling God for about a good 2 years now, Lord, I want a townhouse. Okay, I want a townhouse. I want a 3-4 bedroom townhouse. And I know for a fact God took my apartment away, and he's having me going through the trial that I'm going through in order to make that happen. Like bro, like I know, so I'm not gonna, listen, I'm ready, I'm excited, I'm ready. Okay, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I love my mom, love my sister, but I miss having my own place. I'm gonna hold y'all. Yeah, that was basically, Lord have mercy, I felt like this story was all over the place, but then again, what else is new? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope and pray that this video is definitely encouraging for a lot of you guys that are currently going through it. Again, it doesn't even have to be a situation with the car. It can be anything, bro. Like when I tell you guys, there have been so many situations in my life where God has taken something away from me, and I was so upset and even angry to a certain extent. Like, Lord, why would you take XYZ away from me? But I'm telling y'all, he always takes something away from you to give you something better. Every single time, I'm telling y'all, God will always take every single time God will take something away, he will give you something better. I promise y'all, like literally, it is just so insane how God works. Because again, moral of the story, just because you pray for something, don't think that you're gonna receive it in the way that you think you're gonna receive it. God's gonna work in his own way, but best believe God will still get it done. Okay, so it's just like, bro, like God is just so good. God is just so good. And it's like, even this past situation with my car not working, I'm over here thinking I was gonna have to pay $1,500 to get it fixed, and lo and behold, big shout out to my older brother Tier, he was able to connect me with this one mechanic shop that instead of me having to pay $1,500 to get my car fixed, I only had to pay $774 to get my car fixed. So even with that, you know what I'm saying, like God is always coming through, y'all. I'm telling y'all, God is always coming through. I'm telling y'all, thank you, Jesus. That's pretty much the end of the story slash testimonial type of video. Again, I really hope this is an encourager for you guys, because trust me, listen, if God can do it for me, God can do it for y'all. Because listen, I'm just, you know, I'm just a humble servant. You know, I try to do the best I can. I'm definitely not picture perfect by any means necessary, but God still loves your girl, and God still makes sure that your girl is taken care of, and that is always greatly appreciated. But yeah, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to your girl down below for more content, and I hope you guys have a great day or evening or whatever time you guys happen to be watching this, and I'll definitely see you guys in my next one.